This is a good little setup to talk about something I've wanted to talk about for a while now. Seeing this lineup of, a YBR 125, big old BMW 1100S, you've got a little X Moto, and you've got my XJ6. It's such a cross section of bikes and such different bikes. You've got a 125 and a 125, but they're totally different ideas. And then you've got like a 600 and 1100, which are very different, but in similar ways they're the same. Obviously, because similar is similar. As you may know, I've reviewed a lot of motorcycles. At this point, I think I'm either at or close to 100 different models that I've ridden in my time on the road. I was thinking, what one thing have I learned through all those different bikes? Everything from 125s, scooters, to motorcycles, dirt bikes, supermotos, through to sports bikes, tourers, adventure bikes, electrics, from the 125 equivalent, even 50cc equivalent electrics, up to these ridiculous things like the Eva Rebelli 35 grand electric. I've ridden a lot of bikes. So the single truth that I think I've learned from riding all those different bikes is blatantly obvious and maybe not surprising. And that is that it doesn't matter. None of it really matters. Engine size, type, style, whatever. This day and age generally, other than a few bikes which are just functionally bad, and they're always on the lower cc end because they're so cheap, bikes are just good these days. Now obviously, depending on your license level and your skill level and your wants and your needs and all of that stuff, that changes what bike is good for you. Every motorcycle I've ridden I've found enjoyable. There's a couple which I thought were a little bit lacking luster, shall we say, but I still had fun on them in their underdoggedness. That's the point. Maybe I'm different to most people. For me, the switches of riding motorcycle, the things that I enjoy, the things that bring me back, is not stupid top end speed or anything like that. It's just this now, being on the road, experiencing it. Different types of year, different weathers, seeing different things, to just travel through the earth and just observe and see what's around. Plus, of course, there's the thrill of riding a bike, and then there's the development of your skills and stuff like that. It's so rewarding in so many ways. Also, if you have anxiety or depression, get a motorcycle, because trust me, this does something to the wiring of your brain that just helps. Maybe it's because you have to concentrate on the road. Maybe it's because you have to concentrate on every single thing about what you're doing. Is there gravel there? Is there a bump there? Is there someone around this corner? Is there someone going to come out of there? All of that. You haven't got time to sit and worry about that time that you embarrassed yourself in a staff meeting 10 years ago when you actually mispronounced the boss's name or something. Those tiny little moments that people who have brains like ours just love to store in a little compendium of, yeah, you said that. No one else in the room remembers it. No one even noticed, but you're going to remember it for years. And you're going to keep it in the compendium of, oh God, the compendium of doom, the compendium of despair. And it's a book you can never really get rid of if you have anxiety and depression issues. You just learn not to pick it up so often. And if you're on one of these, well, you can't be reading the book. And that's why I'm not judgmental to any type of biker, seriously. I've made some jokes in the past. We've all made a few Harley jokes and a few Jigsaw Rider jokes. It's all meant in fun and games. If you fall into that category so hard that you feel personally attacked, well, then you're just part of the stereotype. But genuinely, I have a little extra respect for anyone who chooses to ride a motorcycle, because it shows some confidence in yourself. It shows you're a little different and you don't mind dealing with hardship, getting wet, getting cold. You don't have the comforts of a car and things like that. And I just find that, especially as I do it as a job, motorcycles are just part of my life. They're not a thing I do. They're always going to be there. They're always a necessity that I need to have a bike. Do I identify as a motorcyclist? No, because I could identify as a lots of other things. A motorcyclist, a wildlife photographer, a photographer, entomologist, chef. I've got many strings to my bow, as they say, but it's all these unique strands of a person's personality and likes and wants, and the switches that come on and off for us individually. It makes us the rope, as it were. As a child, you start out as a string, and you start adding more and more strings on until you've got a decent sized little rope, and then you can get a few more of those together, and then as you get older you make a stronger rope and a stronger rope, and it's just experience that gives you that that strength. And that's why I really like the motorcycling community, and why I really dislike seeing petty arguments and picking on different groups and unsupportiveness in the biking community. You know, people trying to make out they're better than everyone else, because the idea of a community, the idea of us all really enjoying something together, is that it brings people together. And as I've said, we are all different people with different strands that make up our ropes, but those ropes individually, although they are made of different things, can be combined to other people's ropes, and then you just got this big rope train going on. And if you watch Baker X Derek, this sounds so wrong right now, but otherwise you're understanding the metaphor. Carrying on, that's one of the things I love about the biking community, is the diversity of different people that you meet. When I used to run the social media for Loomies and I was down there every week on a bike night, you know, I'm taking pictures and stuff, I'd be talking to people, and I get to talk to doctors, you know, engineers, people who work in retail, cooks, just a massive swathe of people. A lot of middle-aged dentists, a lot of dentists. You're getting paid too much money, stop buying BMWs. See, that was a sort of stereotype joke that I don't really mean. You look at me, I'm a big child who rides a child's bike around, not this one particularly, the DR. A lot of people think the DR is just an oversized 125 for children, and I agree with you, I am a massive child and I don't care. I only have this bike because I have to be sensible. Now, of course, I'm talking very rosy tinted glasses. There are the realities of life, which is if you need to do 100 miles a day, you can't do that on a 125. You can, but you know, if you're going to do it regularly, you're going to need a bigger bike to commute that, and something big. You know, there's lots of logical reasons to go for bikes. That's totally true. But when you pick your bike, would you go for one that logically made sense, but you just hated everything about it? Probably not. Would you take a small compromise that it wasn't quite as perfect as it could be for you, but you love the way it looks? Of course you would. Anyway, as I say, that's just my thoughts on it. It's been very lucky for me to be able to ride all these different bikes over the years, and a big thank you to all the different companies that allow me to do that. I wish that some of you would allow me to continue riding your bikes. You know, as I've said, I love all bikes. Some of them have some things about them that aren't perfect, but that doesn't matter. As I've tried to say, you shouldn't be worried as a company to have your bike criticised, because it just means that, well, it's not for that person, but it could very much mean that it is for that person. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. If there's anything you'd like to add, please do that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button if you did enjoy this video. Subscribe if you're new here. You know, intertwine your ropes into the community that is on this channel. I do not mean that in the Baker X Derek way, just to be clear again. Oh my god. A massive thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without you, this channel would not be possible. You know, the cost of living crisis is hitting everyone, and it does mean that I'm losing some of the support on there because people just can't keep it up. I mean, it's $1 a month, so if you do watch my videos and you haven't been a patron before, or you are able to do it and support this channel, that's like $12 a year, sorry, and you get videos way early, Discord, all that sort of stuff. You can even come and shoot me on Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, 2022. Though I warn you, I'm actually not that bad. Then do that, links in the description, all of that. Let's end the video. Bye bye.